to order at 6:31 on my clock on the computer. And I do not see anybody that I would think would be public comments. Mary's not here. We'll skip finance. We'll go to the consent agenda, which has minutes from November 10th, 2021, and the warrants that were included in the package. Shall I run through the warrants? Let's see. I gotta move this. I'm gonna disappear here. All right, so the warrant is for $314,911.91 and includes kind of hard to read because it gets turned sideways when it comes to me. Payment to Lori for minutes for November, tuition payments to Grace Christian, Highland Hall, Long Trail School, Sacred Heart, South Shire Community School, and the Village School. And then there are payments to the UESD schools for children who are attending there. And then there was an added amount of $160, and that is for, actually, I do not see the Village School in this warrant.
You mentioned it.
I mentioned it, but that was by rote. I was reading the other things. I don't see the Village School. I know the warrant was submitted to them, to the office. Well, yep, no, it's not on here. To this warrant, there was $160 appended, which is our annual postal rent, post office box rent. I think if I can get a motion to accept the minutes and this warrant, then we'll vote on that, and then I will. I think we'll have to have a resolution that authorizes me. Well, I'm authorized to sign the warrant that will have to be produced for the Village School, and that's. I'd have to look back at the last. I'd have to look back, and I'm not.
It does have a dollar amount on there, Rick.
What?
It does have a dollar amount, $170,812.
Yeah, it's 170,000 and some dollars.
Total warrant for 340.
But we should have the exact number.
Tuition,
yeah. So I'm not on there. I am. Okay, so let's I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes and the warrant as included.
Motion.
I can't hear you, actually.
Motion.
So
I'm
that's
having a very hard time hearing you too, Kieran. I'm so sorry.
I thought we called the house phone.
Okay, so Kieran made the motion. I'll second it. Where is Matt? There he is. All in favor, raise your
Aye.
hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's all of us. Now, I'd propose a motion that we vote to pay the village school invoice for, shoot, I wish I had the exact amount. Let me disappear into
Hmm.
okay. $170,812.91.
Ray, it is on the warrant,
Where is it?
third from the bottom.
Third from the bottom. No, I don't see.
Tuition for 109 students, $170,812.91.
It's probably the fact that I'm having to tilt my head to read this. Oh, okay. Right, it's right down at the bottom. Yes, okay, so sorry about that. I
All
just
good.
never noticed it down there. Okay,
Tim Newbolt's having trouble getting into the meeting. Does he have a good link?
Yeah, I just let him in.
well,
I
it's
Give
on
him
it's on
time.
the agenda. So
think he's in now.
Is he in?
yes, he's here.
Okay.
Welcome, Tim. So, okay, so we just passed the warrants, and that includes all the payments we have to make. I'm sorry, I was confused about that. I just didn't notice it. Shoot. No, I don't. Okay, so next thing on the agenda would be the we have some policies to approve. One is a slight amendment to policy 6230, curriculum-based field trips, which adds in the USD, sorry, instead of the individual school districts, and also the Arlington School District and Sandgate School District. And
This one
then,
also, I did take some notes on this. This
Yep.
was, so essentially what it's doing is adding in all the local districts as well as school. It just says school, the changes that we made or that were made were any school-based field trip, educational field trips that include participation in activities for all students, and it says including those with disabilities. So there wasn't any discrepancy in it.
There we go.
okay, so we're asked to approve it now that it's gone through. It's been authorized by the SVSU board yesterday.
But it's posted as a warn.
Well, this is the thing I don't like. I need paper to keep.
It is a
myself
warning.
straight.
You.
It's a warning. Okay, it's a warning. Yeah, so we're warning it. Okay, can someone warn it, move to warn it?
I will move to warn.
I'll second.
Okay. It's warned and seconded. We got.
Yeah, Kiernan seconded.
Yep. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the next one is policy 6050, special education. Do you want to speak to that, Kiernan?
The only notes I have on this one is that these policies are going to be in place by January 2022.
They struck out some redundancy last
Yeah,
line 9 and 10.
yeah, and just change some of the verbiage in it. Instead of, just change just a couple of the words out.
Hmm.
Strike out in 9 and 10, and then instead of in line 17, instead of will use the guidelines, it says the districts will, or the districts utilize the guidelines,
Right.
and then strikeouts in 20 through.
Yeah, this is redundant.
It's a lot. The strikeouts are a lot of redundancies. That's why they're stricken.
I'll make a motion to warn policy 6050, special education.
I will second that warning.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. And then there is
Attendance.
there's the attendance is not actually a warning, is it? That's just a
FYI.
FYI. It's not the policy per se. It's administrative regulations for the policy, which is a policy on attendance, 50/30 on attendance. I don't think we need to approve that. Unless we choose to add our slap on the back for that. So next, that would put us into the superintendent's report. And he's told me he's going to be brief here because he's.
Good evening, and I wish you all have a nice holiday. Bye.
Well, okay, that's brief enough.
We're Ray was with us at the SU meeting last night. He knows that December and January takes up so much of the administrative time preparing budgets. Renee and I were up in Arlington today, meeting with them to get that process started. The SU budget was presented last night. It's up 2.5%, which I think is outstanding work that was put together by finance department, considering what we're experiencing inflation wise right now. There will be another meeting in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll finalize the SU budget that night, because that assessment needs to appear in all of your budgets so it can be finalized. We are with a slightly shorter window this year because town meeting is March 1st. So our floor meetings will be February 28th. And if you look at the calendar, you know that comes close. That is actually coming really soon, federal holiday in between us. And the 45 to 30-day window starts January 20th. So we really should have all budgets wrapped up by then. But the principals were meeting with Renee and with the directors as we finalize what will be presented for each budget. So a lot of work there right now, but that's, we sing the song, it's the most wonderful time of the year around here, but we do it to its budget time of year. We just kind of use that melody to do that. So that's really what's taking the bulk of our time. Also, the transition with Arlington and Sandgate has really ramped up in the past month, November. We'll take more and more duties over by January. This is a transition year, which doesn't mean that we wait to June. We need to do redundancy and a lot of duties that Bill Basic is currently doing that then our staff does with him while we still have Bill available to get that done. I think struggling with substitutes, but we did have a training class go through last week and this week that hopefully will result in a few more subs. It's certainly not going to be everything that we need. We did sign a letter of intent to lease a new building, a building known as the Bennington Brush Building. We have a lease agreement currently with our attorney being reviewed. And it would be our hope that we put that on the agenda for the 21st of December, which is when the SU will do their budget meeting at 5 and then go to their regular meeting afterwards. That'll be their December meeting because otherwise it would be the 22nd and no one really wanted to meet the Wednesday before Christmas. Can't say I blame them. I'm glad that we're not. So that's, the final vote is with the letter of intent is just that, a letter of intent. It's not a final contract. So I imagine that discussion will move forward that date. But as I point out, it is a considerable increase in the rent that we pay for this building, but to bring this building, to make both floors fully usable and ADA compliant, the engineering review we had of this building pegged that at $3.5 million. And that figure is well over a year old. And with what current construction costs are, I wouldn't want to price it out what it is right now. So stand by, we'll see what happens there. And
Jim, what happens with the old building?
so this building, the SU does not own it. It's owned by the Union Elementary School District. We're not, SUs in Vermont are not allowed to own property. We cannot purchase property. We do not have, SUs do not have bonding authorities. That all rests with so it would revert back to the Union Elementary District. I imagine for now it would be winterized and mothballed to protect it and preserve it. But the most pressing problem I see right now, it needs a new roof at minimum, and that had a well over $40,000 price tag just for that. So it'd be for that board to decide. So I really would want to speculate with what they would like to do with it. But
Right.
it could everything from declaring it surplus to repurposing it for another use, but it would have to be by an entity that has the ability to take a bond to do it.
So what is the impact of you no longer paying the rent on that building?
So it's 30, we pay the Union Elementary District $35,000 to rent this, but we pay all repairs and utilities. So it's like our own building. So
Triple net lease, yeah.
so it costs us more than that, but the 35,000. So it will be so the impact of the Union Elementary District as far as a loss of revenue, 35,000.
I'm sorry, and where is the new building?
The Bennington Brush Building. It's across from the Bank of Bennington on right off of downtown.
Just down from Walgreens.
Yes.
Red.
Across the river from Walgreens, actually. Yeah. Or stream.
And that connects over to the other street, right? On the or what is that?
There's a parking lot there, but there is, I believe, future development even planned for there. A new building going in is what we're told. So it's right near where the town garage used to be, behind King's Shoe, all that, right in that area. We did announce that we've made a change in our COVID announcements. We're no longer doing all calls, K-12 alerts out to families. From a lot of families, like, we're overdoing the phone calls. They're getting too many. So then people are actually like tuning them out. So we will not, let's say there's a positive case at one elementary school, we would do a K-12 alert to let everybody know. And the announcement would say that all positive contacts have been contacted individually. We're just going to continue with the contact of the positive contacts directly, but no longer doing the all calls. Some schools were getting 2 or 3 calls a week at minimum. So it's a more strategic use of our resources and limiting the amount of K-12 alerts that we're going out to families because of the negative effect of when you get somebody calls me, maybe you're not listening as intently as we would like you to. So being more restricted on how we use it. And that's pretty much what's going on. But any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer for you.
Well,
Jim, may I ask you how the Test to Stay program is going and how many kids or families have signed up at this point, like
I
percentage
don't,
wise?
it's going, Tim. I don't have the numbers in front of me. We haven't been overwhelmed yet. I know that there is some concern about maintaining that, especially if we get large numbers to do it. But we're really encouraging. So thank you for giving me this open. Really encouraging people to go get vaccinated, because Test to Stay is really just a stopgap, and it is only available to those who aren't quarantined. So we really hope that people will continue to get their children vaccinated. So it is up and running, but like I said, I don't have the numbers of how many.
No, thank you. I just was
Are you
curious.
doing it?
We're hoping to start it soon. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And there's it is one tool that is helpful. It's certainly a move in the right direction, but it's not going to solve everything, Tim.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything else?
well,
I'm sitting here all by
So-
myself.
what? Sorry.
I'm sitting here all by myself.
Yep. So my one question would be at that meeting on the 21st, I guess that's the meeting at which we will take up our North Bennington's concerns, which I now detailed,
Yeah.
and deal with them, right?
I can't predict what the board will do, but I imagine since you sent it to them, the chair will put it on the agenda.
Yep.
As they received this yesterday afternoon with the meeting being last night. So
Well, I
think
didn't
you
send it to
acknowledge
everybody.
that.
I just sent it to you
Oh.
and Renee and to Dick.
the chair,
and I'll
right?
Send
Yeah.
it forward, yeah.
Yep. So I imagine that now you receive it, he'll put that discussion on the agenda.
Right.
And as you heard, Renee addressed it last night, that she just needs to be told what's the wish of the board on what they want to do assessments, so she can do the assessments.
Yep. All right. I will push the ball forward.
Thanks,
And
Ray. That
what?
was, thanks for that. That was a well-detailed analysis of the situation, and I really, I mean, as usual, but I really appreciate getting this in front of the other folks in time for them to discuss it. The other question I have is, are we seeing any information yet about the state, state grant stuff? And it's probably too early for that, right? We don't know where we stand with our own budget for next year.
No, I don't know anything about that yet. Any of the elements that go into constructing our budget. I don't think there's much information. I did see an email from the VSBA that which referred to a fiscal office study of some sort about, I think it's actually, it's not the fiscal office. I think it's, I don't remember exactly. I think it's the people who set the parameters of the yield, which involves the fiscal office, but they're saying something about there's some that us because the legislature is saying a certain amount of money is going to go toward property tax reduction, so that they're predicting significant decreases in the rate, which would come about in terms of yield, I guess, going up. I'm not sure about that, but that's all up in the air, really, because that's all speculative at this point.
Right, there's all kinds of speculation on it, and what's the CLA gonna be? Is it the belief that there's an excess in the of 90 million in the ed fund, and how will the legislature and what for everything from the governor's recommendation is 45 of the 90 goes to tax relief and 45 goes to capital projects for schools, particularly CTE schools. But nothing, probably nothing until, I mean, the tax letter came out December 1st, which, that has to come out by statute by that date, but until the legislature starts actively its work, everything, as Ray said, is speculative at this point.
Right. That first communication in early December is never the end of the matter. And though it was a very positive sign for districts that are, which is most of them feel that they're under stress from tax rates. What it ends up being is another question. And so we'll talk about, I told Jim that I thought after his report, he could just leave it, put me in charge of the meeting, I guess.
I can make you host, yeah.
Yep. And if I think we're there at this point. So.
Yeah. Before I do that, I'm going to make somebody else co-host too, because once I make you host, I can't make someone co-host. So,
Okay.
Laura, are you familiar with Zoom if I make you co-host?
I'm getting better at it.
All
So
right.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, hold on. I'm going to make you co-host, and then I'll make Ray the host, and then I'll no longer have control.
Okay. All right. So
And
thank you, Jim, for your report
you're the host.
and for being the host
Okay.
to this point.
All right. So I will be leaving the meeting.
All
Good
right.
evening, everyone.
Good
Good night.
evening.
Bye.
Yep. All right. So our last item is just chair's report, which I didn't detail anything. Mostly because I wasn't sure what to put in there. There's a lot of little odds and ends and details. But then I sat down today and I thought about a number of different things. Of course, there's our assessment material, which I sent all of you the letter about the points that I want to deal with at the SVSU level, have to be dealt with at the SVSU level. I'm willing to answer any questions anyone has, or accept any comments about changes that maybe it should be made, because after all, it's a document that's got to be read and people have to understand it. And so the fact that I've lived with it for years now at various times, fiddling around with it, doesn't mean everybody else understands it, especially the language and how I express it. So take any questions on that. I was going to talk a little bit about I sent, I believe all of you received the draft letters to send out to Sacred Heart and Grace Christian about these this payment because I received a nice letter from Tiffany McKenna at Sacred Heart and policies and a copy of the latest approval from the state board or for Sacred Heart School. But I had requested that if there were any other students, I know of one who had received scholarship aid in their contract with the Sacred Heart School. So I requested that you give us that information, and I had in the original, the letter back in October said that we would consider withholding, holding on to the payment. The payment is all written, and to see if we can't get that before we actually pay the second payment on Sacred Heart tuitions. I could pay one of them now, except that it's all on one check. So if I hold it, it's for the others. I'm holding it for that one as well. And the same is true for a similar issue with Grace, but Grace has not responded at all to my letter. They've not sent me, as I requested, a copy of their existing approval certificate, and they have not sent me their policies that I requested in terms of harassment, bullying, hazing, and discrimination of various sorts. And so I've seen no policies from them. And I think these are things that it's their responsibility to provide to us, we don't have to go looking it up with AOE. It should be that they provide it initially to begin this relationship, which seems like it's likely to be a long-term relationship. The next thing I might talk about is we're going into our own budget season, which really doesn't begin until there is an SVSU budget and assessments, so we know what those costs are. And here I did a little calculation today. I did a little research on what is the most significant problem with our current assessments, which is in the area of triple E services. So I looked at your packet includes an FYI that is the enrollments. And so I checked for the enrollments in the pre-K triple E graphs, which are mostly on the second page of that. And I recharted them and corrected the math errors on the lines, the counting errors. And then I checked what our cost is in terms of assessment for triple E services to the early childhood, early education portion of the SVSU budget, and calculated and looked at SVUESD warrants to find their total assessment. And I took the numbers that I came up with, and I will tell you what the cost per pupil for North Bennington is. We have one pupil in triple E4 for age 4, and it's $92,140. The SVUESD has 74 students, an $859,061 assessment, which is $11,609 per pupil. That's the discrepancy that's most outrageous in our assessments. if we actually paid the same amount per pupil, then this year, North Bennington would pay $12,682.68. And SVUESD would pay $938,518.32. And the rate would be $12,683 per pupil. So, that's why I'm asking for this. That's why I consider it completely fair to change the way in which this is calculated. And hopefully I will get people to vote for it. They don't have to vote for it, but clearly it seems to me there's something totally out of whack there. Anyway, so that's one of the things that is in that assessment letter. And I'll remind you that there's a lot of information that has to be gathered in order to get our budget together. Kate Abbott sent me an email this week about children coming from pre-K into kindergarten who will need special education services. One of them is likely to go into the NECC classroom in, I guess that's in Mali. I'm not sure about that. And those costs run 60 to 80,000 total between the costs for being in the room and ancillary services. There will be some additional assistance from the state because it's over 60,000. If it's over 60,000. And of course, we don't, the way money is structured in the special ed program, we don't get hit with all of that because the SU controls most of the money, so that a lot of it is coming from the SU budget, the global budget for special education. But still, it's a hefty sum. At any rate, so we need pre-K information for who's coming into kindergarten. We already have those listings from the early education people. And there will be an assessment that, there will be a calculation of what our budget, our share of the EEE budget is based on I'm arguing that it should be based on the actual EEE enrollments over 2 years preceding for both the SVUESD and for North Bennington, instead of what it's been, which is I proved in the appendix that the actual way it's being done currently is that the state gives the budgeting, our business office, a number which is the average of pre-K plus EEE for the last 2 years. And we get that's why the number has been so outrageously high, is that puts us at a higher percentage of the cost than our actual numbers in EEE would put us at. And that varies, that goes up and down over different years. And because our numbers are very small most of the time, that percentage can vary a fair amount. But the years I've looked at, which were last year, I was looking at 20 and 19, I guess. If we actually use the EEE numbers only and not the pre-K numbers dumped in there that changes things so dramatically, because we have a very high pre-K population in our programs. We would save a lot of money, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have a huge impact on SVU ESD's budget because they have a large number of students. So my argument has been that, and continues to be, that there's no difference between these kids, and the program doesn't differentiate. In the budgeting stage, there is no way to differentiate between kids, and they're all in the same developmental delay category. So there really is no basis for huge disparities in costs. So that's the argument I make. I don't think it's fair the way it's being done. And I think the system that they're following from the Agency of Education is incorrect. Then we have to deal with numbers from all the schools, at least the independent schools. We need to check on what their numbers are and figure out what costs from them will be for the year. And we wait for the equalized pupil count from the state based on the census from October, and contest that if necessary. Last year I did quite a bit of contesting over certain numbers because I found them, I didn't see why they were correct. And in one case I was correct, in one case that it turned out it was correct number because I didn't understand the basis that they were doing it on. And we need to have our conversation with Tim and the village school board about what they see for their situation for next year. And we need the surplus number from the audit that's still underway, as I understand. And check with the treasurer whether she wants a little additional money or not. She's usually been very kind to us and not accepted, not asked for a lot. And check what the average tuition, state average tuition rate will be for next year, because that will tell us what South Shore will be asking. And of course, we will have children again from Sacred Heart and Grace, and we will be paying tuitions for those. And I don't know if that will increase in terms of numbers. Hopefully there won't be a historical break from their current tuition rates. There'll just be an incremental rate for inflation.
Hey, how many students now are we, I guess, supporting in the new schools that are being allowed?
Well, there's 6, 4 in Sacred Heart and 2 in Grace. And I'm sorry, I don't keep this number on the top of my head, but I know that between the pre-K students and the regular and the K6 students, we have somewhere around better than 165 students in the district.
Mhm.
And I think there's, no, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more than that, because I know there are about 31 or 32 between pre-K3 and pre-K4. And then there's the one triple E. And then I think the actual number of K6 students is over 140. So there's a substantial increase.
Right, so maybe six students that previously did not receive public dollars.
for next year.
for next
Yeah,
year?
I
Maybe more.
maybe more. Yes. We don't know. And
yeah,
I think that the pre-K numbers have been fairly steady in this range of 30 plus students for the two different ages together combined. And you know, like we have someone at Long Trail this year. Of course, that person will graduate to the next grade and be out of the elementary range. I have not looked at SVUESD. There may be some sixth graders there that would reduce that, but we may have incoming at the lower end of the age spectrum
Mhm.
there. And
Tim,
we'll see how it works.
are we getting any, probably too early, but any info about next year's enrollment stuff? Any new students on the horizon, or an increase in people coming out of pre-K into K?
It's still really too early to tell for
Yeah.
sure, Matt, but there's not, I don't foresee a big significant change. What we are going to target is those families that are going to other SU schools and see if we can shift them in our direction.
Yep. Well, that would be good. I think that would be good for you. From the district's point of view, you know, we're committed to the village school, so we want you to succeed, and we'd like you to see increasing the number of students. From our point of view, you know, these students add up to equalized pupil numbers, and it slowly raises the equalized pupil number and gives us more capacity for generating tax revenue. But it does take 2 years for a child who enters to become a full number for us because of these 2-year averaging. And so it's painful for it to be a lot of students at one time, as this year has had. And it would be nice if it maintained a steady level or just a slight increase for a couple of years to let rates, you know, let the equalized pupil amount take down the cost per pupil.
I would like to thank Kim and Ray both for, you know, sharing the links to at the Supreme Court level.
Well, Kim, yeah,
I was unable to hear it, but driving home, I heard Nina Totenberg, our Supreme Court, you know, NPR person,
right.
describe the day as it went, and it looks like that we're looking at a complete destruction of the long-held church and state mandate.
Mm.
So likely we will be, you know, funding in the future these situations regardless of their concern for the civil rights issues that
Yep.
that we've all raised.
Yep. I think that's what it sounded like to me. And she made a very pointed reference to the fact that 5 of the Catholic members of the court, 5 out of 6, were definitely seemed to be on board here. So it seems likely that that's going to be a problem going forward.
And
Nary-
although I
Sorry?
find that unfortunate, because of the legacy and history of, you know, some of the democratic principles that we believed and adhered to, I also believe that these children, you know, deserve an education.
Certainly.
I'm concerned about that they're going to receive, and the impact on those principles that we thought were kind of written in stone regarding yeah, anyway, I'm done.
Yep. Okay. Well, maybe the last thing I had to say is that with this time of the year brings some attention to dedications for our annual report.
Mhm.
And I am looking for some help, actually. We have, if I'm correct, there's David Monk, Rachel Schumacher, and Jean McWaters.
Okay.
And if I've missed somebody that you're aware of who's passed away and had substantial influence on North Bennington education, let me know. But I would like to review this with you. I was thinking that I might ask our former board member, Maria, if she would, because she and Bill did one of their local historic persons events on David and Rachel. So I thought that she would make a great person to write that up if she can find the time to do it.
Yeah,
If you have, you know, I could look for someone else, maybe I could do it, but it just seemed like that was something I could
well,
see
as
doing.
much as I think that's a fantastic idea, I think that this might be a unique year in that we have to, I mean, Jean has to be included in this.
I'm not excluding her. I'm just,
I see. Right. So I think,
we have several some years, and
Yep.
she's certainly included. And what I was going to say for Jean was that I was going to invite a little, somewhat shortened, but remembrances from a lot of people that knew her.
yeah,
I would contribute something. I would ask Pat Gibbons. I would ask the members of this group that's working on getting this bench seat for her.
Yep.
Kathy Vallon, her daughter.
mm,
She was a great person, and quite a contributor to this community and to the education and in our schools in general, and certainly in this community, in this school. So that's the way I was thinking of doing that. And I would accept, well, Matt knew her well, and some of the rest of us knew her well. So anybody who wants to write something, I think a curated selection of messages from different people is a way of saying the fondness in which she's held
yeah.
by us all. So if you want to do that, let me know. we need to have it done by before the middle of January because the annual report's going to have to get produced slightly sooner this year
Right.
due to the dates in 2022.
Let's reach out to numerous people who are were within Gene's tribe, and then Maria could help, I'm sure, but don't expect. I do not expect any.
Well, okay, I guess I would ask Kim if she would talk to Maria, see if she's interested in doing this or willing to do this. And if not,
Yes, I will. Absolutely.
thank you. And then I will talk with Kathy Dellen about the group and see if I mentioned it. I've already mentioned it to the group that I would appreciate short remembrances from them. And I'll remind them we have the deadline to meet, and yep. So I will make contacts there because at least I think I know some of those people. And if you know someone else that you think should contribute for
Or
her,
if there's anybody else we've missed in this
yeah, if there's someone else you've
horrible
missed.
year of loss, in this
Right.
community.
I try to keep track of
Yeah,
obituaries, so
it's what we do,
I'll
Ray.
look. I'll
When
look
we're
through
old-
my.
When we're old, that's what we do.
Well, that's not why I was doing it, but
Well, that's
just
why I do it.
because I came up with this idea of honoring people in our community, because
No.
I'm a generation younger than most of them, and I see that going, and
Exactly.
it'd be better if I could put something in while they're still alive.
Right. Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah,
Culturally, why don't we let people know how special they are before we die?
well,
Uh,
hopefully we do individually.
Right.
It would be a lot better if I'm thinking about that. I have to identify a list then.
Yeah,
I
it takes work. Yeah.
when I did Lindy's, I did write something that included a whole bunch of people that were active in the 90s on the board who were influential and important to putting this village and its school where it is.
Right.
And I sort of honored them then. But there are other people, like we have never done anything for Bob Howe. And
We've done a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong.
well, I mean, in our annual report, that's all I'm talking about. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Bob was one of the North Bennington Day people.
Yep. He was.
And Cora May.
And Cora May, right?
Let's not. So that's the thing. You get into that situation. Let's not talk too fondly about the living, in a way, like that, they're still here.
Yes.
But at the same time, my God, what a great contribution to this community. But anyway, in a public meeting, maybe we should just move along.
Okay.
With this happiness and figure out what's next on the agenda.
Well, there's nothing else on the agenda.
Okay.
unless you have comments to make. And actually, I have an open question here. Should I, which is the whether I should hold on to the payments to Sacred Heart and Grace and send a letter and ask for compliance with my rather minimal request, I think.
Yes. I believe you should.
I agree that
Okay,
you should wait until we get a response.
yep.
That's not asking for much, I don't feel.
I don't either. And Kieran, are you in agreement with this? This is sort of a sense of the board here, so it's not a really resolution.
No, I am. Yeah, I mean, if they can't respond to a simple request,
Okay,
we should hold off until we get a response. It'll
All
trigger
right.
a response if we don't pay them, so.
so Tim's with us, so I could ask him how things are going. I haven't spoken with him, so I'm not going to put any difficult question before him right now, but if he wants to say something, that would be great. So,
I just would say that I think I've mentioned this before, and it's been well publicized. I think this year has been more challenging in many respects, but I think we're doing the best we possibly can, and I think the kids are happy, and that's the most important part. I think we're overall in a good place. I'm excited about the vaccinations I've already heard about for many of our students. That'll potentially make some changes in the future, and we hope to be able to adopt some new policies around that and possibly the test to stay program, and we'll see where we go from there. But I think that the faculty and staff have done such an incredible job throughout this whole thing, and I have to give them kudos every time I think about them and all the work that they've done, all the different levels and all the different roles. And you know, it says a lot when the kids are not excited to go on vacations. You know, that means something, that they want to be with us, and that's a wonderful thing. So we'll continue along the path, and I'll be excited when this is all done. It's been a long haul.
That's great, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
My God. I can't even imagine.
Yep.
I really can't.
I can't either.
I've talked to a lot of teachers just over in New York, and they're 15-year teachers, 16 years, going on 20 years at this point, and they're worst 2 years of their teaching career. So I don't envy the position you guys are in, Tim. I don't, but I commend you guys for everything. And my kids loved it, so, and my youngest still loves it.
Keeping it together.
Well,
You have one here on this meeting who you should also make a little mention.
Lori,
Yes.
thank you, Lori. And you had your week back this week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
First week back?
Yeah, yeah. Not full days, but it was great to see the kids on Monday, and we were all excited to see each other. And it just it was a long time not being in the place that I love to be in, and to be the people that I love to be with. So it's been really fun, and I have some that just don't leave my side the minute I see them, and they don't want me to leave again, they said. So anyway, hopefully I won't.
That feels good, I bet.
Yeah.
Yep, they're very sweet and honest at that age.
And I bet that Tim and the rest of the school they've been covering for you for how many weeks?
Yeah, they have.
I bet they're
And-
kind of glad to have you back.
Kind of, maybe.
Right. All sorts of reasons to be glad Lori's back in the school. Yes.
Yeah.
And we're happy she's there too. And happy she's here tonight.
And happier
Very
health,
nice.
Lori.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks,
Yeah.
Tim. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't think I have anything else to talk about. It just be wandering over some territory I've already covered, so.
I just want y'all to know that you're all awesome as hell and you do, I mean, school people and all of yous. Holy moly. We're putting up with this. I don't know. Thank you for everything you do. That's all.
Right. Well, I'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
We won't have a meeting before January, I guess. And
Mary.
yeah, so I think, I forget what day of the week our first meeting would fall in January of 22. Does anybody have a calendar on that?
Wednesday, right?
The second Wednesday will be the 12th of January.
12th, that's kind of late, I think. But
That's too late for what we got to do. We have to have a meeting before that. But yes,
well, hold on a second. Last night, Jim, he didn't mention it tonight, but he said that he's giving all the staff from the 22nd to January 3rd off. Wants them to stay away from devices. And not be in where, so if Renee sticks to that, it may be, I doubt Renee will be sticking rigorously to that
No, but-
myself.
so I think on the 5th, we ought to have a Zoom meeting, budget meeting,
Okay,
just to put us ahead of Lori,
We need
hate to
20
ask you this, but we're looking at, if
What if we did the 6th? Do we need?
sorry, you
40
speak up, Kieran? I can't hear you very well.
What if we did the 6th? Just in
The
case
6th?
they don't touch any of their devices.
What day of the week is that?
that's a Thursday.
Thursday?
Sure. I mean, the 5th
I
or
mean,
the
we
6th.
need 40, don't we need like 48 hours or something like that?
For a
For
notice,
notice?
a special meeting, yeah. But I think what Matthew was getting at, and I'm fine with the 5th or the 6th, we have a very short window of time to do this year because of the March
Correct.
1st,
Yep.
very short. So I think it's a great idea to have one that week. And if we can decide what that is, you can let Amy know and Jim know that, and they can advertise it,
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, so.
Right, I can set it up.
What Kieran, so Ray said that,
Now, I'd say just do it on the 5th.
right, because you were saying that,
Do it a week early. on
yes,
Wednesday, the 5th.
yep.
Okay,
And
all right,
that could be our official meeting, right?
Mhm.
Even though we will probably have another budget meeting on the 12th or 19th.
right,
And then you can just continue that meeting
Exactly.
yes.
and then
Lori's
you're,
got the right strategy there. I keep forgetting it, but she's got the right strategy. We don't have to, we
And you
don't
don't have
have
to
to
go through
close
all
the
that.
meeting. Yeah,
right, yeah, just.
so we
continue.
don't have to keep warning. We just put a notice
Absolutely.
into the
That's-
meeting that we're going to have these meetings at those times. So
Yeah,
continued meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay,
So I'll set it up for the 5th.
Yep.
And, there may, I think it may just be our little business meeting. Maybe it'll be short even, but,
Could be.
because I'm not sure what available information there will be.
Well, you know what? If we can't have information available by the 5th from the state, and then we're supposed to meet on the 12th, and then there's I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's getting too tight for all this stuff. It has every year.
Yep,
I mean, yes, we have February, but by then it's beyond the warning dates for
Right.
right.
the stuff you have to do. So,
Yeah, exactly. Because I have to get the information to have the ballots printed and they have to, you
Yeah.
know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So what's our drop dead date? I heard it
Didn't
mentioned.
he
I
say
think it's
the
like,
20th?
what?
Didn't he
No, I
say-
think it can't be that early, can it?
So March 1st is voting.
March 1st. So it's, what is it? It's not 30 days. It's more than that, right?
March
It's
1st
a window, right?
March 1st is a Tuesday, of course, and that is,
Town meeting day.
but you know, I get mixed up with my village and my school stuff, but when do they have to print when does the school?
I don't remember the dates. I have to look them up every year. It's no less than 30 and no more than 40 or something like that.
But, and you know, Ray, I think we need to keep in mind, we don't know what's going to happen with ballots this year, right now. Because,
right.
for example, we just had some changes in municipal rules for mask wearing, vaccinations. That information I sent to the trustees last night. There's some new changes and this can keep changing. So it would be in our best interest not to be last minute, but I understand you can't proceed without the information you need.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was told, you know, that the last night Jim mentioned that our annual meetings have to be in person, can't be Zoom.
Right.
So there will have to be a regular floor meeting.
Until they change, you know,
right, until it's changed.
right.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's some new mandates now for municipalities.
Uh-huh.
As of right now, for mask wearing for our employees, for meetings. Did you read that yet, Matt?
No,
It's
I
pretty,
glanced.
it is pretty extensive, but there's some changes just now.
and that's
happening.
coming down from
The Vermont League sent it down to me and I passed it on to all of you.
the league. Yeah. So, I mean, the governor definitely does not want to require mandates.
Yeah, he's not mandating, right?
But we don't know what we're looking at. I mean, I've got a good feeling we're going to get, you know, that this isn't going to be this, you know, whatever the hell the next one is thing, you know, it's not going to be so bad, but we don't know what they're going to do. So we have to be ready for either a completely remote meeting or a mandated public meeting. And we don't even know what the hell, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll have this meeting on January 5th.
There you
It
go.
may be brief, but we may be able to sort things out a little better then.
Yep.
Timeline. And also we will just pay our bills for the month.
Yep.
And maybe nothing else. Maybe we have a conversation with Tim about what he's thinking for the village school.
Right.
So.
Right.
And I can send out inquiries to the other schools for numbers. And, you know, Highland Hall never tells me what their tuition rate will be. They just say, you know, they'll figure it out, but their increase is always minimalistic.
And I can tell you, Ray, right now, families are not allowed in the village school. I mean, if that is still the case and all these things are COVID is not good in our area.
Yeah,
Tim's
we
not gonna
can't meet
change
there.
that. And why should he to put our children in jeopardy by having a meeting with outside people? So
yeah,
in that event, we'd need to find a different location.
Right.
I mean, so there's a lot to think about in just a very few short
yep,
months.
okay. Shoot, short week.
So that's a question we should pose to Tim now so that we can start planning. That's an excellent point, Lori. Like, would
Correct.
he want the meeting held at the school?
Right.
Lori.
No, I don't, I would imagine, Kim, that,
I can't imagine he would.
that the meeting, the actual annual meeting that we have, that will not be at the school. But I'm more concerned about, I think what Lori was getting at is meeting with prospective kindergarten students and all that. Maybe it was, am I wrong there? That bringing,
Well,
you know,
you're
bringing
meeting
in,
with prospective kindergarten students not till later in the year, right?
Right, and we were not allowed to do that last year. We met outside under a tent with masks on. But
Yep.
what I am saying is what Kim was saying, we can't allow people in that building. We don't even, Kim can't even go in to see her child or
Right.
boys if she needs to.
right,
So that, I think that's a big concern because the depot is very small and that
Yep.
too might, there's some rules about the firehouse right now. Yeah, I want you to read that. I'll send that article to all of you.
please do. I mean, I
Okay.
know I
I'll
have
send it to you, but.
I know.
All
That was
right,
after our
so
meeting last night. Yep.
that means it's going to be a problem for us because if we have to have an in-person annual meeting, we're going to have to locate a space.
Yep.
All right. Is enough? We've,
It's enough.
okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I'll,
Happy holidays,
Fourth it.
everybody.
Yes, happy holidays. Nice to see everyone.
yeah, bye.
Santa, good night.
Take
Good
care.
night.